Hello viewers, Super GT here. F1 2021 is upon us. Oh, hello Lando, how you doing there mate? You alright? It is upon us, it's that time of the year for plenty of carnage, just like this. Or will it be clean? Will it be clean this year? Silly question really, isn't it? Of course it's going to be dirty. Let's jump straight in. We are going to jump into beginner friendly. Now, this is my first race, so you could call me a beginner. I am beginning my F1 2021 multiplayer career. And we're going to head over to a good old Suzuka in Japan for our one-shot qualifying. And what am I doing here? Oh, annoyingly I had all of the assists on. I couldn't work out how to turn it off. But we'll get to that. Finishing in between Goofy Gibbon and Bushy Baboon. The world-class goats of F1 that they are. And, I mean, what is that suit all about? What's going on there? That is a crime against the fashion industry. Anyway, we move into the race. A couple of cars behind going a little bit too soon. And I've been jumped by about... Oh, everyone getting a drive-through. So in this beginner-friendly mode, collisions are off, as you can see. So you can go through each other. So this would mean it should be clean really, but just judging by this, it isn't really. Everyone's all over the place, including me as I drop it on the curb with all the assists on. I mean, what? Didn't even know that was possible to spin it out with assists on. But oh, car going backwards there. We continue, try and catch up with Bushy Baboon. There he is, definitely a candidate for GOAT of F1. We caught him up, but wasn't enough. We finished in third in our first ever race. Fantastic achievement by Dick Crocs Carly there. Brilliant drive to come through to about fifth or something. And there's that suit on the podium. Absolute travesty that thing is. Who designed that? Absolutely shocking. Next up, we move into ranked because, you know, we're going to give it the big one now. One-shot quali, then 5-lap race. Collisions on now. So this is my one-shot quali lap. All going rather well. All going rather well until I was looking at the HUD going into the wall into the final corner. Then I cut the corner and invalidated my lap on the last corner. Very frustrating, but it doesn't matter. We'll start fourth with a rather shocking start, it must be said. Let's see what pans out into turn one. Other than this guy going for a nice little spin through the first corner. Then we get a penalty. Gove Street Party just up in front. Well-known Formula 1 driver he is. Coming through this corner. Nice little old switcheroo. As Crofty would say. Never mind the fact I went off the track to do it. Forget about that. It was still a good pass. Still a good pass. So we're up in a fantastic fourth position out of 6. Cutting the final. Oh, this guy wants to spin out. Do a nice little 360 no-scope on the final chicane, as you do. And by this point here, sitting in third, battling for second, in a nice little fight with Raw XOXO. Coming through this little chicane, is he going to do a Vettel? No, not really. If anything, I'm going to do a very bad job. Coming up into the first corner on the final lap then. We're going to go for the move up the inside. We need the other side, really, because turn 2 is a right-hander, so it didn't quite pan out in the... Oh. What have we got here? A yellow flag. Chips with dip deciding to park it. He wants no further part in this race. He was in the lead and just decides he wants some more chips with dip and goes off to the pit lane to go and get that. Throws away the win. Can I get the win now? No, not with driving like that. Absolutely shocking. Don't know what I'm thinking there. So ultimately we finish in a second place. Not too bad, I suppose. And this is the first recorded case of 3 identical triplets being on the podium in F1 at the same time. Absolutely immense achievement. You've never seen that before, and you probably will not see it again. This is what I was looking to unlock for level 5, the ultimate pose, rare pose. And I'll do a couple more races, and hopefully we can get that rare pose, because obviously that's overpowered. Let's go and have a look at... what we can customize here. Let's take a look. Well, this is an EA game now, so of course coins were always going to become part of this. Luckily, I got very kindly gifted 18,000 coins when I got the game. So I bought VIP, which makes me 10 times more important now, of course. And well, let's take a look. Oh, can't wait to unlock that. There it is. That is the pose, the level 5 rare pose. Once I get that, no one is going to be beating me. There's no chance you can beat a driver who's doing that pose. I mean, come on. Or with this suit, more crimes against fashion are being committed. And it says own there because everyone's about to get owned by this absolute atrocity. In fact, I bought this one which is even worse. They're called Primal Nature. And then I just made the car look really bad as well, just to really dazzle everyone as they as I get past them, hopefully. There's also some radio calls you can do which sound pretty funny.
Oh, all right. I think maybe I can start turning some of these assists off.
That one's cool, but I prefer this.
No one has ever done that! No one has ever!
So with our settings changed, I actually managed to change the assist as well. You have to press triangle. I'm on PlayStation, by the way, because triangle's one of the buttons on PlayStation. Right. Vote for a track. What are we going for, ladies and gents? Well, we got Donkey Killer SAS in the lobby. I am quaking in my boots. Donkey Killer SAS. Now, you know, if Goofy Gibbon wasn't the GOAT, then I reckon that guy is. Yeah, half the grid gets disqualified in qualifying. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get into the race. Starting 10th on the grid in my engineered insanity car with horrible paintwork and horrible suit on the driver. Let's see what... Oh, the hand is being raised. It's only been 5 seconds, guys, and the hand is up. Let's take a look through turn 1 and 2 through the center S. It's actually not too bad, but look at Cactus there, going off in sympathy and causing absolute scenes of devastation in the rearview mirror. And well, I'll take that, thank you. Moving up into 7th place. 3 players have immediately dropped out of the race and have promptly visited the Shadow Realm. 5 laps here to try to do some damage. Hopefully not literally, but we'll see. Up the inside here, this guy goes very wide. Should I leave him space? Well, probably. Hopefully leaves me space here through Alex Albon's least favourite corner. And then there's an awkward piece of contact there as we head through towards... I won't try to say the name of it because all the Brazilians in chat will go mental at my pronunciation. Up the hill then, Barosh Allen in front, and then the 2 in front of him going flight is Donkey Killer SAS, causing lots of carnage. We've lost a front wing. Oh my goodness, downforce reduced. Coming up towards the first corner with no brakes because of the missing wing. We're going to cut the corner here. Go straight across the center S. And look at this, no grip at all. Turning through there, coming down the hill. This is going to be a very tricky race with this much damage and this lack of turning. So all I can do really is, I suppose, I have 2 choices. Stay out and brave it to the end and do that, or go into the pits. But I mean, it's not a very long race, is it? It's almost pointless to go into the pit lane and get a front wing. I mean, look how much time I'm losing. Actually, it might be worth it because there's still 3 laps left after this. If I'm losing like 8 seconds a lap, well, no, we decide against it. We're going to stay out and just deal with it. Get good. So we're sitting here in 5th with a damaged wing. If I can just bring this one home with a decent result, might be okay. Really having to lift off through there. And you see the car behind gains massively with very little I can do about it. As he jumps up the inside, I move into my customary position of 6th and promptly move back into 4th as 2 cars decide to punt each other around. And by the end of the race, I stayed there. So with a damaged front wing, finishing 4th. Absolutely sensational. Oxy, driver of the day. No doubt about that. I just have no doubt that he was the driver of the day, despite the fact he wasn't even on the podium. So we two of the triplets are still on the podium, but it's not a complete set. We move on to the next track vote. I go for Monaco because we want maximum carnage, but for some reason everyone goes for Brazil again. We just did Brazil. What are you doing, guys? Let's see if we can go a little bit longer this time without invalidating our lap. This is the major pitfall, isn't it, of one-shot qualifying, just drifting a little bit beyond the track limits and getting yourself disqualified. You've got to try and find that nice little balance between really pushing but then also risking getting that lap like that. Yep, invalidated. Okay, so we move into the race, starting 12th, fairly close towards the back of the pack. Immediately gained 1. That guy really not sorting his clutch biting point out very well. Into turn 1 then, plenty of carnage. That's exactly what we like to see. And that's... Whoa, what's going on there? That's exactly what you're here for, I'm guessing. Now, as we come down the back straight, Donkey Killer SAS just in front, the absolute goat. Let's head into turn 4 then. This guy goes a little bit wide. I called him the goat, but he just drifts really wide there. One of a very unusual mistake there from Donkey Killer SAS. Normally, I'd expect a lot better from him. The likes of him rarely makes a mistake, but obviously on this occasion, just the pressure of heading towards turn 4 with Super GT not too far behind, it just really got to him. So I find myself here in 4th place, and things are going rather well. Heading through turn 11 up to 12. Are we okay here? Yeah. Tricky little corner this one, this left hand. It needs to get it right as we lead on to the main straight. Firmly in the toe. We're going to fast forward it slightly in towards turn 1. It turns out that someone ahead does have a penalty. Let's go through here. I'm taking the Gran Turismo line where I'm cutting that corner completely. And we are going to head up the inside. No resistance provided from Schlinky Man as we head into turn 4 up the inside. Beautiful move. Pretty much a textbook move, I could say. And there we go. The driver in second with a 2-second penalty. So that's something to bear in mind. We don't actually have to overtake him. Just stay within 2 seconds and we shall beat him. Unless I get myself a penalty as well, which is entirely possible. Now, as you come through the infield, quite a tricky little section this, especially with that mirror there. You've got the driver just distracting you in that rear view. Try not to look at it though. Try to look at this driver in the lead, absolutely binning it completely. Oh my god, and he was called the Massacre, suitably named as he did massacre that tyre wall. So we move up into second, and this very much became a rather interesting scenario as the driver ahead has the 2-second penalty and a 1.3 second gap. So it's basically a case of just try to keep that gap below 2 seconds. So he needs to try and gain 7/10 on me in 3 laps. And I have the rather close attention of Schlinky Man, who's still there. All I've got to do really just get my head down and focus. A little bit wide there, still exceeding track limits. Gap up to 1.7. And this is the final lap. This is lap 5 of 5. Final corner coming up to now 1.8, 1.9. What is the gap? Let's take a look. Let's bring it up a bit larger on the screen for you so you can actually get a better look. 1.85. Then all of a sudden, some sort of wizardry happened and he gained a lot of time very quickly. And I can only call hacking or nitrous oxide, or he's got different assists, or he just is better. That's my live reaction. And we move on to the next race, which is at Spa in Belgium. A very famous race circuit, this one. And it's one that we all know and love, except for that guy there getting a shocking start. Now, up the inside we go. Everyone goes very deep, and myself included. Hand gets raised. Lots of proximity arrows there. I counted at least 4, possibly 5. Coming down towards Eau Rouge, we're going to make it 3 abreast, which is always an awful decision. The cars chop across each other in what can only describe as a weird moment for physics. So heading in, probably shouldn't have put my nose in there. And you can bet that that was me laughing my head off on the radio. So let's continue as we go down the Kemmel Straight. I've gained quite a few positions here, up into 3rd. Going defensive. Let's try to not get absolutely obliterated into Lake Coombe, and we don't, thankfully. Awesome stuff. Right, who's this? Zedox Orbix. Me and him go way back. Can I get him up the inside here? No, it's not going to happen into Rivage. Tricky corner to overtake, so it's not really going to happen. Stick behind him for the time being, but to be honest, it didn't really matter because just about 2 minutes later, this shocking moment happened. I think I followed someone else into the barrier there, so that curb really messing us both up. So it's a really, really sad time as I head back to the motorhome. But luckily for me, that's Arava. Arava's actually going to be caring for me. So that's very nice to see. We move on to France. The worst track in Formula 1 existence. Just look at those horrible lines. Yes, we have to visit Paul Ricard. Now, unfortunately, I made a mistake here of not connecting my wheel properly. So this is not ideal when you're trying to set a one lap quali and you're still deciding which controller or wheel to use. Wouldn't recommend that. It turned to rain before the race and boom, we've got Steve-O and Paul in the wall, and it's barely been 5 seconds. So good job, guys, good job. Just try and keep it clean next time for at least 6 seconds. I mean, come on. Right, coming up towards turn number 1. And what's going to happen here? Going to just shove that guy wide. Nice. Up into 5th. Good little start that. Gained a couple of positions. Really courtesy of everyone just driving horrifically. Didn't do anything too special. And then had a massive moment at the end of the first lap. Look at that. Almost completely lost control. Just about regathered it to keep going. Then suddenly this weird proximity arrow flies out of nowhere. So someone really taking to the excess tarmac. And then we make collision with each other, and then he just ends up disappearing, presumably shadow realmed. We'll just assume that. And by lap 5, approaching back markers, this was always going to be a worrying moment, but he let me go. Okay, fair enough, very well behaved. This could be a sinister plan though. He did get really rather close in the mirror, and I was quite concerned because this was the final lap. Didn't want to get absolutely murdered.
Jeff, I want my pizza, Jeff.
But what was more pressing was Mr. Camper wanting his pizza from Jeff. We moved on to the end of the race and we got stuck in this to-do weird lobby glitch thing. So obviously EA and Codemasters have still got to do some glitch fixing. Anyway, we moved back to Silverstone. We moved to Silverstone. Lots of collisions. Oh my goodness, it's not even been 2 seconds this time about. And plenty of people in the barrier already. So lots of wet races here in F1 2021 multiplayer. Oh my goodness, big moment. Managed to regather it, so we're all good. Don't you worry. So let's see what we can do. Home ground for me as we head to Britain. Go in there a little bit too hot. You can probably go that fast in the dry, but definitely not in the rain. So we get overtaken here by PG Pro DO36. He moves up into second, and he's going to look for the lead here. But he's going to get run onto the grass in a very, very choppy move by the leader. So a very close fought battle here for the lead of the British Grand Prix. Heading in towards the final couple of corners. We go late on the brakes, forcing this guy rather wide. We're going to go for the old switcheroo on the exit. Fantastic overtake. One of the best I've ever seen that. And then we move up into second place. This is the this is slightly into lap 3. We're going to go for the lead here. Going to try to duke him out like Nigel Mansell did to PK once. And he's not having any of it. He's swerving multiple times, and then I might have accidentally rammed him off there. Possibly not accidental, but possibly deliberate. I can't really give you more info than that. So 4.4 seconds the gap to the leader. Can we try to regain that in two laps? I guess the answer is no. Luckily Arava was there though to comfort me on the way back to the pits. But here we go, guys. This is it. We've unlocked the pose, the super rare pose. Look at that smile. Once the hands get crossed, no one is going to be beating me. So let's head back to Silverstone. This track seems to be voted a fair amount. So going purple in the first sector, courtesy of the crossed hand emoji, or whatever you want to call it. And then at the end of the lap, we go purple, not getting a penalty. And look at that. The fastest man on the planet with his arms crossed. That pose is well OP. It needs to be patched. But let's go. Oh, he's gone a little bit too soon. Bad man. 2015 584. And he has himself a drive-through penalty. So starting on pole, but we're already 2.6 seconds behind someone, although they do have their drive-through to do. So let's just forget about them for now. and try to pull away from the rest of the pack and try to establish our dominance in this race. Now, we did just do a wet race around this track, so we should be okay. We're fairly familiar with it. By the end of lap 1, we caught up with Badman, and I wasn't going to hang about. He's got a drive through, so you might as well just get out of the way. You're not part of this race anymore. You made your mistake on the first lap by pulling away about 8 years before the lights went off. The only thing that could stop me really was a back marker. This is lap 5, and I was a good couple of seconds in the lead by this point. We pulled alongside, and I'm just wondering, are they going to completely chop me? Didn't quite happen. I was still really rather worried, though, coming into Stowe Corner at the end of the hangar straight. Didn't happen here. But there is one big braking zone left into the final corner. Was it going to happen? No. No, it wasn't. People are rather clean on F1 2021 multiplayer, as it turns out. And then he just binned it anyway in sympathy. So we actually win the race.
Oh, yes!
That's my live radio reaction. Okay, we reached level 6 at the end, and that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Yeah, goodbye.